Hi, and welcome to the 3 traffic getting strategies built beautifully for automation and scale so you can stop hustling. This is really about doing things in a more easeful way for your business so that we can grow and we can leverage without burning out and ending up in overwhelm. So what I want you to do today is relax, be open to learning some new techniques. Oh, we've got some more people on here. Really, I guess, just be open to learning what we're going to be sharing today. So what I'm going to do is share my screen with you. We'll hop straight into what we're sharing today. And I'm going to see if I can minimize our slides as well. There we go. So if you have any questions as we go through today, please feel free to pop those into the chat. And if there's anything that doesn't seem to be working at any point, let me know that as well. But because I completely get that you've probably tried lots of different traffic strategies in the past and probably found yourself either failing at them or burning out. I'd want you to know that it's not your fault. There is a lot of information out there and it can be confusing. I completely understand that. So many times this information overload, of course, keeps us from moving forward, and that's okay too. You'll find some ways today to be able to move forward and take action. So if you've been concerned before that you can't get your ideal client to your website and turn them into clients, I want to put those fears to rest. You can do this. You just need to be led in the right direction, which is what today is all about. Now, the internet marketing crowd want you to think that you can use the latest marketing fad or fancy piece of software to be successful. For me, that's not quite right. So I followed, I'm not sure if any of you are like me, but I followed the bright, shiny object path for a long time, you know, buying all the new tools and the digital programs and following fads. And what I realized is that it doesn't work. The platform can fall over, and I'm thinking about things like Blab, if any of you got into the whole Blab thing and Periscope thing for a while there. Only 4% of people ever finish digital programs because they don't have that accountability built in. So I'm always really conscious of spending a lot of money on something that's digital only. And we get tied up with paying a fortune for tools that we end up not using, which is why my approach is to look at some timeless evergreen strategies that will not only give you results now, but also long into the future. And I'm also about building a sustainable business with that steady flow of sales using consistent online marketing. Now, I really care about getting as many female entrepreneurs with service and coaching-based businesses automating their businesses so that they can scale it for greater revenue and reach more people with their message. So this workshop today is really I guess part of me delivering on that message. So it's all about getting your message spread further without you burning out. So here's what we're going to be looking at and diving into today. And what I want to promise you is how I went from 1,000 hits and 0 opt-ins to one specific page on my website to eventually turning that into 400 to 600 monthly opt-ins using an automated traffic strategy that it can provide immediate results, but also done with little effort. The next thing I want to share with you is a social platform where you can create a piece of content once and it can live in the newsfeed for years. And the last one is how you can create a resource that can be discovered without you having to even attract the traffic in the first place. The platform creates it for you. So to help you retain all this information today, you can download the Client Pathway Workbook or the Soulful Client Pathways Workbook. You can download it here while I tell you a little bit about my background. So the link there is bit.ly/traffic workbook, and it's a capital T, capital W, and capital B, just so that you know. So jot that down and you can download that, and it's completely fillable, so you don't need to worry about, printing anything off while I'm doing this. So as you heard, my name is Kelly O'Brien and I'm an author, a speaker and a coach. And I spent 16 years as a journalist and really stepped into where I am today by accident. So while I was a journalist, I had a column that I wrote about being pregnant and all the disgusting things that happen to your body. It was very, very comedic. Well, I thought so anyway. And when I had my second daughter, that's the one that you can see on the screen there. I was asked about that column a lot. So I decided that while I had time on my hands, as we do when we first go on maternity leave, I'd start this mum blog, and I really had no idea even what a mum blog was, but I'd heard it and I knew that I could keep writing, which was my passion. So from that blog, I was asked to help businesses with their PR. But after quite a few years of running that PR agency, I actually started to burn out. I was trying to balance running the business with staff, and then of course our marketing, which if we're not marketing, then we're not consistently attracting new clients. And I just found it really overwhelming and I was burnt out. So I looked at how I could get smarter with my marketing so I could leverage my time, which is of course where I stumbled across the power of a client pathway. Now, a soulful sales funnel is what I call the client pathway. It moves your most aligned client from discovering who you are on Facebook or blogs, for example, through to nurturing and building that relationship via an email marketing system, and then inviting them to work with you. And I'll show you an image of that in a minute. But this is how I arrived at this point, empowering entrepreneurs to use storytelling, to use strategies, and also to use really smart systems to leverage your business and build soulful client pathways that work on autopilot to free you up to focus on what you do best. So my question is, can you relate to this? Maybe you're spending hours on Facebook posting content, but it's not amounting to any email subscribers or clients. Or maybe you could be blogging, but no one is actually coming across and reading your blogs. So for many, constantly driving that traffic to their website, that's the thing that burns them out. And it can be tiring and it can be really disheartening sometimes too. So traditionally what happens is that people just throw darts at the marketing map and they hope something sticks. But what you need to do is create a holistic approach and set up a system that will work for you rather than you always working for it. And this is what I want to teach you today, because you can really systemize so much of your business so you can focus on the things that matter to you, the things that of course light you up, like serving your clients. So I've just noticed we do have a chat. I'm going to see if I can. Sharing the workbook link again. I'll go back to the slide if you like, Jane. I'll just go back to, so it was http colon and /bit.ly/traffic WKBK. So it's a capital T for traffic, capital W for WK, and capital B for BK. So you should be able to just put in bit.ly/traffic WKBK and that should bring it up. But it is case sensitive, so just letting you know that. So hopefully you've grabbed that now. Beautiful. Glad you've got it. Excellent. So before we get into the 3 key areas that I want to share with you today, let's take a look at where traffic sits in your holistic strategy. So this is how a client pathway will look once you've completed it. You have traffic, where your most aligned client is hanging out and where you're actually going to attract them. We have a free gift, which is creating an irresistible resource. So we're not delivering it just yet, but we're creating it that we know our ideal client most wants to be able to solve a small problem. The next one is our lead page. So this is designing a high converting landing page, and this is where we're able to then grab their email address in exchange for the free resource that we just created. They then go to the thank you page, and for me it's really important to develop a smart thank you page because this page is often overlooked. People miss the point that everyone's going to land on that thank you page anyway. This is an opportunity for you to carry on the relationship and the nurturing. The next one is the email path, and this is a sequence that delivers a free gift to them, but also continues to nurture a relationship with those people by providing value and also asking for the sale, because if we do not ask for that sale, then you haven't got a business and you have nothing to measure. And of course, if you've got nothing to measure, then it's not worth doing in my book. And then our last step is really in the sequence is really our sales, which is leading people to your sales page or to a sales call. And the sales page needs to, of course, sell the benefits of that product or the program or the service that you're providing. Now, today we're going to zero in on the traffic step. That's the key part to actually get this whole thing going. So why is traffic important to your business, especially if you have an online business or you want to attract an audience that spends time online, which is most of our audiences these days. Well, if we have no traffic, it means we have no leads. If we have no leads, it means we have no sales. And if we have no sales, it means we have no business. We have a hobby. So each visitor to our website is worth somewhere between $1 to $10. So the more visitors, the more income, the more your income grows. Now, most people's Google Analytics look something like this, what you see on the screen. This is my personal blog that I haven't blogged on for quite a few years, but it keeps getting traffic. But of course, that traffic is flatlined. There's no real growth there. And I encourage you to take a look at your analytics. I know for some of you it doesn't light you up, but it is really important to have a look at where you're at and see whether you're coasting along or whether you're making inroads to real growth with your blog and website. So what does a platform pattern look like for you? Instead, we want this effect, and this was a screenshot from my business blog, which is clearly from last year because it says July, but it shows a steady growth pattern. Big wins quickly can be great, but if your website can't handle them, so you get mentioned in Forbes magazine, your site crashes and then it can create headaches and a bad image for you. And sometimes that traffic, I've found, can also be rather fleeting. So you want to build sustainable traffic. And this is a 5-week period of my business blog, steady and sustainable growth using some of the strategies that I'm going to talk about today. Now, some of the others which aren't automated, I'm going to be delving into in the Online Marketing Mastermind, which I'll be sharing a little more with you about that later on. But first of all, the calculator. Now, some of you already have access to my reality check calculator. If you don't, you'll find it by going to the homepage and then looking for free resources. You can get access to it there. But what this calculator does is it allows you to see the return on either traffic to your website, your sales page, or your email list. And here's an example for you. Let's just say that you have 200 visitors to your sales page a week, which would be a lot, but that would be fabulous. The typical conversion for a website is somewhere between 1% to 3%. Now, I've seen 5.5% and 7.7% with clients, but if we stick to the lower end and play conservative here, so let's say 1%, then you'll get 2 sales a week for your $97 product or whatever it is that you're trying to sell, which is $194 a week if our product was $97. So how many visitors can are you currently getting per week to your sales page? Put the number into the calculator to predict your returns, and then play around with what you could achieve if you increase that traffic flow, or if you could get better copy, a stronger product, better messaging and stories to increase the conversion. But let's now dive into, now that we know that, how we're going to actually get this traffic. So the top 3 traffic sources for automation. First of all, obviously you've heard, if you've been on any of my webinars or trainings, or even if you've been on Facebook Lives, you know I talk a lot about ideal client or your most aligned client. So obviously I want you to get really, really clear on who your most aligned client is and where they're hanging out. So if it's not on any of the 3 platforms that I'm about to share with you, then it's not a smart option. But I'm guessing that at least one of them will fit for you. And if not, I'll be sharing some smart tools that can help you see where you need to be focusing your energies. And with that, you can create a system that will automatically send you traffic. It's good to supplement it, of course, with Facebook ads if that's in your budget, organic social media posting, etc., that make up a holistic strategy. But this is how you can create a piece of content and have it work for you for a very, very long time, sometimes even forever, possibly. So I'll go into, I won't go into your aligned client today, but if you have done this work, I encourage you to take the time to, if you haven't, sorry, I encourage you to take the time to actually do it. It's definitely had the biggest impact on my business. So how can you get quick traffic that can provide immediate results with little effort? Now, some of you may know my story about the blog post that gets automated traffic from Google every single day. And it's a post that I wrote back in May 2013. Now, it had a free download on it, but at the time I didn't understand the value of an opt-in or a free resource. So I literally gave it away. So no email exchange involved whatsoever. So while I was lamenting the size of my email list one day, which I don't think had even cracked 200 at that stage, I noticed that I'd had 1,000, I think it was 1,054 downloads of this free download, and I hadn't captured one single email address. And it was a really big lesson for me, one that I changed immediately, but one that I'm glad I can now share with others to ensure that you don't make the same mistake as well. Yes, I lost out on growing my measly little list to 1,000 plus, and we all hear how once you hit that 1,000 mark, things can start happening more easily. But since then, it's been downloaded thousands of times and helped create a healthy email list today. In fact, as I mentioned, the traffic turns into about 400 to 600 email subscribers a month, and I created one blog post and it now works for me. Now, this is not the only post that does this, although it is by far the most successful piece that I have. The beauty of this strategy is that though that all of the smaller channels of traffic coming through add up to one big consistent flow of traffic. So never be disheartened if you end up with a blog post and it gets you, 10 clicks per week. If 10 people are consistently coming through each month, it adds up to 520 a year. How many extra email subscribers and sales a year could that mean for you? But if you're struggling to get blog posts written to achieve that first step, and I actually have clients who really do struggle with the blogging side of things, which I guess is why they end up being attracted to me. They want to know how to do it better. But today, I want to show you the cheats way to do it. I want to introduce you to your old content. So yes, as you can see on the screen, update old blog posts. Now, this is a little known trick that you can do with your blog that people just ignore, but it can hold some big opportunities for very little effort. So if you're wondering how you're going to have time for blogging and you want to get a quick surge of traffic now, but you also have something that will create longevity for your business, then look at your old blog posts. So discover which of your posts are ranking on page 2 or 3 if you happen to have, or whatever's ranking the highest, that could use a bit of a refresh to meet the current market and allow it to obviously rank higher in Google again. And I'll share some tips in a minute to help that piece of content rank higher. But first of all, it may seem the lazy man's way to do it, but it can be highly effective. And it's a much smarter use of your time. One of my clients is finally getting great opt-ins to her free gift thanks to updating an old blog post. So how do you find out which pieces of content you should be focusing on? Now, I encourage you to take a look at your Google Analytics and determine which blog posts and pages are attracting traffic. And you can do that by going to behavior and then site content and then all pages inside of your Google Analytics, and play around with date ranges at the top right of the page. Once you're inside there, you'll see that you can, and it will likely show just 1 week, but if you go in and play around, you can show a month or a year or whatever you'd like. Another source you can use is SEMrush or SEMrush. This is a great tool to show you what blog posts are increasing and decreasing in ranking in Google and what keywords they're already ranking for. You can see mine there, media plan template, ranking page 6 and was page 8, so it's gone up 2 spaces. It gets 260 views for whatever period this happens to be. People are paying $5.09 to use this blog post. There's the URL, and it gives you lots of other traffic as well. And I get 61% of the traffic that comes through. So that's something you can be doing, and really having a look at what your keywords are, what blog posts are working, and what you can be refining further. Now, you can also enter your domain URL into, or even keywords into BuzzSumo, and that will also bring up your top socially shared posts, which I'll share more on in a minute. So once you find the blog post, or even if you're starting from scratch with a blog, here's how you can achieve similar to what I've achieved with mine and my clients' posts as well. So first of all, solve a problem for your ideal client. It's important to really understand what it is your ideal client wants and needs. Now, if you've heard the saying, sell them what they want, give them what they need, you'll know there's a difference between the two. It's important to know what that is. Use keywords strategically through your blog posts. What do I mean by throughout your blog posts? Well, you should concentrate on including your keywords. That is the terms that your ideal client is actually going to Google and then typing into Google to search for something. You need to use that keyword in your headline, your opening paragraph, in your calling your images that particular keyword. There's lots of different strategies you can do there to actually beef up the search engine optimization on that blog post. but make sure you put effort into coming up with the keywords and a topic that are going to be of high interest to your audience, and potentially one that will get shared widely as well. And there are many tools that you can use. Let's start with Google Trends, Google Keyword Planner, and as you saw, BuzzSumo. Another tool that's worth trying is something called Seed Keyword. Now, SEED keyword, this can give you the exact terms your ideal client is using. And you can send it out to your list and they can put in there what they would search for to try and arrive at your website or your product or service. Now, I have a few key SEO tools I now use with clients to come up with lucrative keywords for them before we actually get started writing. So it is a bigger process, but it's worth really learning and understanding because it makes your blogging much more worthwhile. Now, writing longer content, the faces of my clients usually resemble a deer caught in headlights when I suggest this, but you know, I guess the thing is, you know, they're trying to get out one blog post a week as the gurus have suggested that they should do. So how on earth could they now write longer content? And really, who reads all that stuff is the other question that I always get. Well, my first point would be that people do read. So my time on page, so how long someone will spend on a page on my website or my blog, is 8 minutes, which is a positive trigger to Google that my content is worth ranking higher in Google. The other point is that instead of writing a blog post a week, or if you're writing more than that, combine those posts into one mega post and save yourself the time of having to upload new content to your blog every single week. That time can be invested in creating more quality content and then sharing it out. So right now, Google loves long content. It loves content that keeps people on your site longer, which signifies that it's quality and should be ranked higher in the search, as I said. The next one is coming up, number 4, is coming up with an engaging headline. Now, you know, the thing is, if you can't get people to click on your Facebook post or on your tweet or the link in your email newsletter, then this blog post, it fails before it even begins. So the way to overcome that is to have a great headline, which obviously also ties into having a great call to action. And then number 5, the last tip for blogging with SEO, with search engine optimization, is to ensure that it's shared widely. So what does this have to do with your blog post and building automated traffic, you're wondering? Well, it comes to getting ranked in Google, and there is something like, I think it's like 200 factors to take into consideration when you want to get ranked in Google. That's a lot to be across, and I don't even pretend to be across even a small percentage of that. But if we focus just on a few of those, one being keywords as above, we can help increase our chances. So another one is how many social media shares your blog post has. So social shares can also then lead to possible backlinks, so other people linking to your content from their website, which is yet another one of those 200 factors. So as you can see, it all really works together. So ensure that you have a strong social media strategy around each piece of content that you produce. And when I work with clients, we actually put together a traffic plan for every single blog post that they create. So a good way to look at blogging is to spend 20% of your time creating the content and 80% promoting it. And a great way to see how you're ranking in terms of social media shares against others using the same keywords is to check BuzzSumo, which was the tool that I showed you earlier, one of my favorite SEO tools. So type in your keyword, it's just buzzsumo.com. Go there, type in your keyword and see who else is using your keyword and how many social media shares they have on their posts. Oh, and I have a number 6, there you go. It's not over. You can do this adding social share buttons. You can do this with social share icons or on each individual post. So my favorite tool for this is something called Social Warfare. Such a terrible name, but it's WARFARE, Social Warfare, which you'll find in your workbook if you've got a copy of that. So it also allows you to add a pin it button to your images, and I'll share more on Pinterest in a minute. But lastly, it has the ability to do click to tweets within your post, so people can be reading and then there's a great quote in the middle of your blog post and they can click that quote and it will open up their Twitter and they can share that quote via Twitter, which of course then gets more people to come back to your blog post as well. So as you can see, getting 400 to 600 email subscribers from your blog can be possible when you relook at some of your old blog posts and optimize them further. So next we're going to look at, oh, and there's the social warfare plugin. That's how it appears on your blog posts. And there's the click to tweet. So obviously I wasn't sharing the slide, sorry. So traffic source number 2, we're looking at a social platform where you can create a piece of content once and it can live in the newsfeed for years. So Pinterest, as you can see, is the answer there. And if you've been hung up on the fact that your tweets last a few minutes and your Facebook posts last a few hours, it's getting very, very frustrating, I know, then I want you to consider Pinterest, where you have the ability to create a piece of content once and have it repay you years into the future. Now, I don't know if you know, but Pinterest works on a powerful SEO tool as well, or sorry, works as a powerful SEO tool as well. So the keywords you use in your Pinterest boards and on your actual individual Pinterest pins on Pinterest are not only searchable in Pinterest, but also in Google. So you can search a keyword and then a Pinterest board or a pin might actually appear in Google as well. So that's part 1 of the automation. Part 2 is that unlike Facebook and Twitter, where a status and a tweet can last only hours or even seconds, with Pinterest, once it's pinned to other people's boards, it can be rediscovered years down the track and repinned and repinned. So here's a bit of a scenario of how Pinterest works if you're not quite sure or you haven't delved into Pinterest just yet. So you see, if I pin an image from my blog to Pinterest onto one of the boards that you see here. Now, it can be discovered by one of my followers. So I don't know how many followers I'm up to now. I think this is an old screenshot. But one of those followers, let's say Judy, she pins it to her board. And then it gets discovered on Judy's board by one of her followers named Sam. And then Sam decides to repin it to her board. And so the story goes on. So it doesn't really matter how long the pin lasts in the Pinterest newsfeed specifically for you, because there are different variables which mean it can be discovered long into the future. Now those variables, there are 3 different variables. So Pinterest works, as I said, as a powerful SEO tool, pinned once and repinned and rediscovered years into the future. So the 3 variables. SEO, if you're using the right keywords around your Pinterest pins, it can be discovered in the Pinterest search for many years. So people can actually just go and search in the top of Pinterest and stumble across a pin that you may have done a year ago. That same SEO is working in Google too, as I said. Number 2 is personal boards. If I discover a great pin about blogging in my newsfeed, I often like to go and check out that person's blogging board on Pinterest just to see if they have other similar pins that they've added to the board. So it's through this that I might discover a blog post that was pinned 3 years ago and end up on their site reading that post. And then the third one is group boards. So along with your own boards and others' boards, there are group boards, and it only takes one person to pin your image to a group board. Some of these groups have masses of people in them to have an increase in traffic. Now, wouldn't you love to do something once and have it pay you back long into the future like that? Now, imagine tying your blog post and your Pinterest together. There's the 2 strategies I've shared with you can work really well together as well. Now, you need to ensure, one of the really critical things with Pinterest is that it is a high quality image that you're pinning. You need to use high quality images to drive that traffic from Pinterest. Are they on brand? Are they images people would want to share? And by that I mean, do they have a text overlay that would make them highly shareable so people understand what it is? That text only needs to be the headline of your post if you've done the headline well. Now, people want to share good quality content, but also visually pleasing content to their social media platforms. So take a little effort here. And my 3 favorite tools for creating beautiful images are PicMonkey, Canva. Canva is fantastic because it has a dedicated Pinterest template, and WordSwag. So that's how you can create pin-worthy images, and then ensure, of course, that you have the pin it button installed on your blog. And we spoke earlier about my favorite tool being Social Warfare that has the pin it button built into it, which is very smart. Now, if you're unsure of what images to use, I just encourage you to spend a bit of time looking at the most popular pins in Pinterest just to see what it is about them that makes them popular, and that will be different for each niche. And there you can see the pin it button. If I hover over the image, the pin it button save button appears on my blog post image. And the last one is, how can you create an opt-in or resource that can be discovered without, sorry, not an opt-in, a resource that can be discovered without you having to even attract the traffic in the first place? And that platform is Amazon. So having an ebook on Amazon can bring you endless traffic and leads. And Amazon has become its own search engine. As you'll see, there's a bit of a theme here. So while your ebook page may not exactly direct traffic to your site, unless of course you've got links in it, those most interested will take a look at the free first 15% of the book, which is where you have the opportunity to put a link to your landing page for your automated webinar or for your opt-in or whatever it is that you're actually driving people to. So you know how you go to Amazon and you look at a book and it says you can read the first 15% for free to see whether or not you like it and want to buy it? That's where you can be putting that link. Now, one of my clients, she added 25% more people to her membership site through using a Kindle ebook, and people didn't even have to buy the book for that to happen. Now, Amazon has become its own search engine, and this is your way to get smart with keywords again. So if you're wondering how it's if it's achievable to get an ebook written with everything else that you need to do, I want you to go back to strategy 1, which is looking at your blog strategy and see what from your blog content already written that you could actually be using to pull together an ebook. Now, as you can see, all 3 of these can work really well together as a strategy. A book as well can be a really powerful marketing tool and an authority tool. So that's how you can create an opt-in or a free resource, or sorry, a resource that's not free, because they've actually got to pay for the ebook, unless of course we're putting an opt-in in the first 15%. But it can be discovered without you even having to attract the traffic in the first place, because the platform creates that traffic for you and people are already on there, already searching for answers to their problems. So what's next? We've gone through our 3 strategies, which was blogging with SEO and updating an old blog post. It was Pinterest and getting really strategic there so we can get our pins into the newsfeed for longer. And also the last one being Amazon, where Amazon will find the traffic for us. Now, it's one thing to have an endless flow of traffic, but it needs to lead somewhere, as I mentioned at the beginning. And one of the best strategies is to have a free gift that you can offer people in exchange for their email address, whether you're doing that inside of the blog post, whether you're doing that directly as a pin on Pinterest, or whether you're doing that in the 15% or even anywhere through the ebook that you're promoting on Amazon. Now, I'm not going to go through the entire client pathway, but ensure that you are leading people from discovering who you are, as we've just been through with the traffic step, to then inviting them to work with you. And along the way, you need to be nurturing and building on that relationship with them, because not everyone is going to invest with you at the end of that sequence. So this is the beginning of building the know, the like, the trust. So when they are ready to invest, you're top of mind. Now, the beauty of a soulful client pathway is that, like the traffic strategies that we've just been through, you set it up once and you're systemizing your business so that you can focus on what you do best. Now, here's 3 examples of women who have told powerful stories, and in many cases using these automated traffic strategies and client pathways to create real change in their businesses. Now, the first one is Sally and Justine from Nutrition for Weight Loss Surgery. Now, I did mention how they had an Amazon book where they got a 4 times bigger email list in just a couple of months. They had a #1 book on Amazon, and their clients were banging down their weight loss surgery membership virtual door for entry, which obviously resulted in an increase in automated monthly income for them. So this was a really powerful strategy for them, particularly the Amazon part of it for them. This is Angela from Your Next Chapter. She's a business coach who tripled enrollments in her flagship group mentoring program, and she increased her email list by 20% through the power of, again, storytelling, but also building a client pathway that featured an opt-in that was highly sought after by her ideal clients, and she was able to nurture those. And I know that those sequences are continuing to bring her clients today, thanks to the fact that in the coaching world sometimes it can take 90 days to 9 months or even longer for people to become a client. So she's been able to use that client pathway to continue to nurture people as they come into her community, so that when they're ready to invest, she's still top of mind. And the other one is Isha from Thriving Women. She came to me with a goal of gaining 30 people to her event after having no Facebook page, no email list, and she called herself a Gumby when it came to social media. And that was frightening when she came and asked that. So we ended up with a thriving Facebook page. We grew an email list for her, which is continuing to grow. And she ended up with 83 people at her inaugural event, and she wanted 30. So she now attracts anywhere from 30 to 50 people each month to this Thriving Women networking event, thanks to a repeatable system. We've got to the point where the system just works for her so that she doesn't have to be burning herself out trying to attract these people each and every month. So let me ask you a question. If you followed what I've shown you here today, which is building evergreen traffic strategies that provide instant results as well as long-term results, and you've developed a soulful client pathway that attracted and nurtured and converted your most aligned clients, do you think you could be successful? Do you feel like you're running your business without a holistic strategy right now and you're not quite clear on the stories that you need to share, or maybe you don't even know how to set up the systems in the first place? If it's okay with you, I'd love to share something special that I've put together just to help you implement this in your business. Now, if you'd like to create change in your business, just like these 3 women that I introduced you to, but you want to do it in a soulful way, so without any of that push-based selling that we see so much of online, then I'd love to invite you to the online marketing mastermind, and I need to update that bit there. So it's not just about building your audience, growing your email list and increasing sales, although results is a big part of it. But it's about connecting with like-minded female entrepreneurs, because, you know, it's lonely out there. You're a solopreneur, many of you, and having other people's minds on your business is incredibly powerful. Accountability to keep you on purpose throughout the year. So often we can get distracted by bright, shiny objects, which used to be an issue for me. And building a conscious business for money and meaning. As I said, it's not all about the money, but it's about ensuring that you're running a heart-centered business, but you also need to be profitable as well. So here's what you get inside of the mastermind. You get 8 intimate mastermind experiences for support and accountability to improve yourself and your online marketing to get bigger results in your business. So being part of a mastermind is where my entire business changed, because I had the collective mind zeroing in on what I was doing, and others often see what you can't see because you're just so close to your business. So we'll be taking a holistic approach to your business. We'll be zeroing in on those traffic strategies best suited to your business and your ideal client, creating your, I'll just get rid of that. Creating your 90-day marketing plan so you can create consistency with your marketing, and we'll be keeping you accountable with that as well. So I'll be ensuring that. And then setting up and reviewing your soulful client pathway and your paid offers. So by the end of the 4 months, this will be working for you. And this is for women who have been in service-based businesses or coaching businesses for 3 to 5 years and are ready to step up to that next level. And this is valued at $2,000 for the 4 months, or $1,850, as you can see. So 2 one-on-one strategy sessions to define your goals and deep dive on your metrics. So you'll be working with me to define your goals. You'll get 1 session with me prior to starting in August to help set your strategy and goals, and another at the end of the 4 months to look at your metrics and set goals for the next 4 months. So that's valued at $600. Next, we have the exclusive business mastery classes, and they'll be on marketing topics to accelerate your business, things like Facebook ads and strategic blogging. And that one is valued at $1,500. And those things will be dependent on what we feel that the group most needs at that point in time. The next one is an invitations to get it done days to accomplish long overdue tasks for big change. We have to-do lists that never get done. This might be copywriting for your sales page, or it might be the storytelling for your content calendar. These things that just hold us back from actually pushing go or having the confidence to put ourselves out there. And this one is valued at $997. You'll get that all as part of the mastermind, those invitations to the big get it done days. The next one is access to the client pathway library. And this is like Netflix for marketing, with every product and tutorial that I've created to keep you moving your marketing forward between calls, and you get instant access to this when you join the mastermind. So even though the mastermind doesn't start until August, you'll get instant access to this. And our 2 participants who have already signed up already started diving into that and looking at the things that are most relevant to you. And that's valued at $3,000. There is a lot in there. There's my Publicity Alchemy course, there's client pathways, there's launch strategies, there's tools and techniques for social media as well. And the last thing that you get as part of the online marketing mastermind is access to my private tools. So you're not held back by not having access to the technology. Like if you want to build a quiz, for example, I have software for that. If you're not sure what landing page software, I will allow you to go in there and play around with mine to make sure that it's the software that's most suited to what you want to achieve. And so this is valued at $1,000. Now this experience runs for 4 months, and due to the importance for me to have high touch on your business, so you won't be a number in a program, each group will only be 4 people maximum. We only have 2 spaces now remaining because we've already had 2 sign up when I just put out a very brief email letting people know that it was going to be happening, and 2 people instantly came back before I've even opened the doors. So we do have 2 more spaces remaining to join us, and the women we have so far are just beautiful ladies who I've known for quite a while, so doing great things with their business already. So the value of the mastermind, as you can see, is $8,947 worth of value. So if you're ready to move into an authentic, conscious and soulful business, then this is the value that you'll be getting back for that. Now, many masterminds out there are reaching the $20,000 mark I've seen, and the last mastermind that I actually invested in myself was $12,000. But today I'm not going to charge you $20,000 or $12,000, and I'm not even going to charge you the $8,497 that it's actually worth. So today it's $1,850 or 4 payments of $500. So my goal is to make this as achievable. If you're a few years into your business now and you're ready to up level and leverage your business through storytelling, systems and strategy, I want to make this as accessible as possible. So to take the first step and join us, what you need to do is go to this link, which is bit.ly/OM for online marketing mastermind. So it's a capital O and it's a capital M. The rest of it is all lowercase and it is case sensitive. So bit.ly/O capital M mastermind. Select the button and fill in the form that pops up on the screen and then hit submit. And what will happen is you'll be taken to a page that will allow you then to book a time for us to chat, to make sure that you are a good fit or to answer any questions you might have. So if you want to create a holistic approach to your online marketing and social media to attract your most aligned client consistently, if you want to use storytelling effectively so you can sell soulfully, and if you want to attract, nurture and convert your most aligned clients using evergreen systems to give you back more time to do what most lights you up, then head on over to that link now. As I said, it's bit.ly/O M mentorship. Oh, have I written mastermind? Sorry, let's ignore that slide. So a reminder that it's only $1,850 or 4 payments of $500, and you can step into a better way to build your soulful brand where you feel supported, nurtured, and fully accountable. The mastermind calls will take place from August 8th. That will be our first mastermind call on August 8th. That's Australian time. The mastermind will deal with what we've looked at with traffic strategies today, but it will also be dependent on the group as well. So what the group actually needs most. I don't think there's anything else I can think that I need to cover or usual questions that come up. But if you do have questions, you can also email me at kelly@kellyobrien.com.au. But that's pretty much it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you gain some more inspiration for your business and seeing how you can systemize your business a little more as well. If you're joining us in the mastermind in August, I look forward to working with you intimately on your soulful sales funnel. And I'm just going to check the chat here. Not a problem. Glad you enjoyed it. Thank you so much. And thanks so much for joining. If you do have questions, as I said, email me. But thank you once again and have a great day. Thank you.